Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am super excited to share with all of you part 2 of my Sephora VIB sale haul. So if you haven't checked out part 1, definitely check that out. That also includes several products that I hauled from Selfridges and also from Rephr, so it's a pretty big haul video. Today's haul is a little bit smaller, but I'm really excited to try out these products. If you watched part 1, you saw my initial impressions of the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette, which I accidentally bought when I was trying to actually buy the Natasha Denona golden palette, so that will be showcased in today's video. I also have the Dior contour stick in the shade Light. I've heard really rave reviews about this one, so I'm really excited to try this out. I'll also dip into more of these Westman Atelier blushes that I hauled in the last video. And I'll be trying out the Prada foundation for the first time. This is one that I've heard such good things about, but I've never tried it, so really excited to put this sample to the test. Other than those makeup products, I also hauled a bunch of skincare products. So first off, we have this duo from Then I Met You. This is their Purify and Plump duo. So it has their Bong Bong Bounce cream and their Living Cleansing Balm. I'm really excited about this product because I love their Living Cleansing Balm. It's by far my favorite makeup remover that I've ever tried, and so I actually have a few full sizes of that makeup remover in my collection, but I've never tried this cream from them. I've tried their thicker cream since I have dry skin, so I figured that would be better for me, but I am intrigued by this other moisturizer, and I think once I've tried that, I will have tried pretty much all of their products. So overall, I really like their line and am excited to see how this moisturizer compares to the other one. In addition, I picked up this mask from Tata Harper. This is the Superkind Radiance mask, and this is supposed to be really good for sensitive skin. And if you watched my previous video, you know that I really like putting on masks while I'm taking baths, but my skin is pretty sensitive, so I find that if I use a clay mask or something that has a lot of active ingredients, it tends to really irritate my skin. So for the most part, I err towards hydrating masks, but I thought I would give this a try because I've heard really great things about this brand, and this is supposed to have really mild AHAs, so it's supposed to be exfoliating but not irritating. So we'll see how this works out. And then I have this Mochi cream from DAMDAM. This intrigued me since I tried it in store and it was a very unique texture. It did really feel kind of mochi-like, a little bit bouncy. And so I'm really excited to try this out. I've been running through moisturizers a lot recently and I've gotten tired of kind of the same old, same old. So in my previous Sephora haul, I picked up a bunch of different moisturizers, and so I'm looking forward to testing them out. Finally, I picked up a bunch of these mini products, including the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. So I've been looking at this product for a very long time because it's sort of a cult classic, and I feel like every time there's a Sephora or Ulta sale, somebody recommends this, but I've never tried it out, so really excited to give it a shot. Then I have the Solwasu Concentrated Ginseng Renewing Cream. So I have tried minis from this line in the past and really enjoyed them, especially if you're someone who likes the smell of ginseng, then I think you'll really enjoy this. The products also work really well for my skin, so I wanted to have a little re-up of this. And then we have this Total Eye Lift from Clarins. I haven't tried this before, but figured it would be good for travel since you don't really need that much eye cream on the go. But I'm excited to give all of these a shot, and let me know if you've tried any of these, and if so, what your thoughts were, and or if you'd like an updated review once I've had a chance to test these out. But without further ado, let's get into today's makeup look, starting with the Prada foundation. So I'm going to try out the shade LN5, since I think this is probably the closest to my skin tone. Let's see. Okay, yeah, maybe a tad bit light, but I think I can make this work. And if not, I'll also add in a little bit of the deeper shade. So let me just first blend this out. Yeah, okay, a bit light, especially on my forehead, but I think I can make this work. And I was super excited to try this out because I feel like this foundation has really been making the rounds in the beauty community. And it's been a while since I picked up a new foundation because I've been so in love with my Kogan Do foundations, and it's been pretty hard for anything else to compete. But I've heard this is a really great kind of very multi-purpose foundation. Oh wow, okay, definitely a bit light for me, so I'm probably gonna have to go pretty heavy-handed with the contour stick. But here you can see the impact. So not that much product is on this side, but there's definitely a huge difference between the two sides of my face. It does have very nice coverage, but still a nice glowy finish. It did kind of pill a bit of my sunscreen over here, but I didn't apply the sunscreen that long ago, so it could just be because of that. And I'm gonna just put the rest of this little package on this side of my face. As a side note, this does have a fragrance to it. It's sort of a fresh fragrance, almost a little bit lemony, which is interesting. I haven't really smelled a fragrance like this in makeup before. I do like it though. I feel like it's not that sort of cloyingly sweet or floral fragrance. Definitely very modern and bright. But wow, yeah, definitely the shade is light for me, so I think I'm going to take out some of the shade up as well, just to hopefully blend this in a bit more. Though I will say the coverage is high enough that I don't think I actually need any more product on my face. But yeah, I'm looking really ghastly now, so I'm gonna go into MN45. It's actually 2 shades up in this package, but I feel like the neutral undertone will work better for me since the warm looks really, really warm. So let's see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think this is one that would be kind of too deep for me by itself, but maybe over this other one it will just kind of even everything out a bit. I have been struggling with shade matches recently if you watched my other video with the Dr. Jart. So I know this does actually blend in really nicely with a finger. This texture is very like kind of silicone-y, so it just glides very smoothly on the skin. And I'm just trying to first do the initial blend with a finger, so hopefully the two products will just meld a bit more. But yeah, this is definitely higher coverage than I was planning for today's look, but hopefully together this just looks a little bit more natural. On the plus side, I think I will not need much, if any, concealer today. I actually just build this up under the eyes and around my problem areas. And yeah, I think I can forego concealer since this is actually pretty high coverage. It's very, very perfecting. It's been a while since I've worn such a full coverage foundation, but I do really like the finish. It's kind of glowy and natural at the same time. So it does look a little bit mask-like just because it's so high coverage, but the actual texture and finish of the skin looks really natural. And actually, while I have these out, let me also just give you guys swatches. So here is the LN5 and here is the MN45. So you can see there's quite a discrepancy in these two shades. It's quite a big leap. I assume there's a bunch of shades in between these two. But the LN5 basically matches the inside of my arm, and this LN45 is a lot deeper, maybe more like the shade of the outside of my arm. And so my face skin tone is sort of in between these two. The neutral undertone does suit my skin tone pretty well though. So now let's go into this Dior contour stick. I'm very excited about this. I was actually not planning to pick this up because this is a very expensive contour stick, by far the most luxurious contour stick I've ever gotten. Like, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? This packaging is super luxe as well. It has this brushed matte finish. Really, really pretty. I got this in the shade 01 Light since I wanted something that was relatively cool toned because all of my existing contour sticks kind of run a little bit red and deep on me nowadays. And since we're in the winter now, I think my skin tone is only going to further get lighter, if anything. And so I wanted to try this out. Wow, look at that. So here we have the Dior embossment, really pretty, and it just screws up like this, and you can also screw it back down, which is nice. So here is the swatch, and wow, that was really creamy. A lot came out just with one quick swatch. And now I'm just gonna apply this directly to the face and then use that sponge to blend it out. Wow. Oh no, now the little Dior emblem is already basically gone, but glad I showed it to you guys before that. So let's see. Okay, that blended like a dream really, really easily. And this is a really nice shade, I think, for my skin tone. It definitely is a contour stick, not bronzing, since it's quite cool toned. But that's exactly what I wanted, so I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, that did just blend super easily with a sponge. In my last video, I showed you guys the Rare Beauty Happy Soul. If you're curious about comparisons between these two, let me actually give you a quick swatch. So you can see kind of what I'm talking about. The Happy Soul is definitely more reddish orangey, a lot warmer than the Dior. I'm actually considering returning this and getting the shade Bright Side, which I think will be more similar to the Dior. I should probably swatch these in store before making that purchase, but I am intrigued to see the difference between these two. At least upon initial application, I will say these two do kind of strike me as somewhat similar in that they are really blendable and they kind of apply pretty pigmented, but then once you blend them out, they sheer out a lot. So you can kind of go in with multiple layers if you want. And I think that's quite nice because it gives you a lot of control. Like you can see, even though that looked really intense on initial swatch, now that I blended it in, it's like not that noticeable on the skin. Let me actually turn the brightness down a little bit so hopefully you can see it even better. I actually think today I'm going to go in with additional layer just because for filming purposes, it's probably easier for you guys to see if I really build it up. Normally, I probably wouldn't go in with this second layer because I would want something a bit more natural looking, but hopefully that just helps you guys to see the shade a bit more. And part of what intrigued me about this sort of really cool toned contour shade is I've been watching some videos about like kind of K-pop makeup or like Korean makeup in general, and they're really not into kind of the bronzed goddess look, and they're much more into using kind of a cool toned contour to just like chisel the shape of the face and give more of that like V shape. So not exactly my style of makeup, but I am kind of intrigued to see how it works on my face. So today is a little bit inspired by that. And then for the nose, I'm actually going to try just using my finger to see if I can get something a bit more precise, because I do find using a sponge sometimes is a little bit finicky. I have been on the hunt for a good nose contour because I find that's sort of the hardest for me, since a lot of bronzers just look really orangey and then it's not that great for the nose area. It looks really unnatural. Okay, I think that sort of works. Again, I really like how easily blendable this is, so even with a finger it really works itself out very easily, so that's great, because especially for the nose area, I think finger application can be preferable. Alright, so far I am very pleased with this product. It is so luxe, so pretty, and so easy to use. I don't actually know if it's that much easier to use or better performing than the Rare Beauty, to be completely honest, in terms of formulation, but I definitely like this shade better for my skin tone. So now for blush. Today I want to go into the shade Petal. Last time I used Pop It, but I think for today's look with the gold palette, something a little bit more like a neutral pink like this would go well. So here is a swatch in case you're curious. Petal is sort of the most popular shade that Westman Atelier includes in these sorts of gift sets. And I did actually try Petal many years ago in a different gift set that I ended up returning because I didn't like the other products in it, but I'm excited to have Petal back in my collection now. Alrighty, so there we go. That blends in super, super easily. I guess I could have just used a sponge for this step, but I had this brush sitting here. Ooh, really pretty. Okay, I think I'm going to take just a little bit more because I find the moment I powder, a lot of the pigmentation is going to fade. And so I'm going to kind of go ham with this step and then count on the powder to tone things down. But this is a really pretty shade, and I really do like these holiday components. I feel like they're more luxe than the previous minis that Westman Atelier released. This has a little bit more heft to it, and I think the shiny packaging looks a little bit more metallic and luxe in comparison to the more plasticky packaging in the past. Alrighty, there we go. Really, really pretty shade, and I love the glow from this as well. For powder today, I'm going to use this Koyo brush from Rephr. This is the gorgeous Autumn Release. Super, super pretty. Really, really gorgeous luxe handle here. And these bristles are extremely soft. It's a combination of Saikoho goat and squirrel hair. So I'm going to use this Kosas powder that I hauled in the previous haul. Just lightly dab this across the face. As I mentioned in the previous video, I do like this Kosas powder. I find that it's quite easy to use, and if you have skin on the drier side, it's nice in that you don't have to worry about over powdering. Although I will say the one thing I'm a little bit worried about with this is, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's starting to look like it's hard panning already. So this has happened to me in the past with Kosas products, hard panning really prematurely, so I'm gonna have to keep a lookout for that. But I do like the formulation of this powder quite a bit, so fingers crossed it is not hard panning on me. So I'm just scattering a light bit on the cheeks because I don't want to totally set it down too much. I really like that finish. There we go. Everything's nicely powdered now. So I went off camera to do my brows and lips. For context, for lips, I put on this Isamaya lipstick, which I featured in my last haul video, and I realized I cannot make returns of cosmetics to Selfridges since, like most stores outside the US, they don't allow you to return cosmetics. So I'm kind of stuck with this. I am still not really a fan of how gritty this feels on the lips, but figured I'd give it another chance. So today I paired it with my Lisa Eldridge Affair lip liner. Alrighty, so I have been having some problems with filming today, and I think I just lost all of my footage where I was putting this eyeshadow on. So that is very sad. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to basically redo all of this because I did all of the swatches and I did this eyeshadow look and I can't find the footage. So yeah, so I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do now. I might just have to totally refilm this video, but at least I guess I'll go ahead and just finish off this look with you guys, and either I'll refilm this, or if the video is already really long, I will just film a separate video with the golden palette so you can see all the swatches live and the eyeshadow application live. Really, really sorry about that. At least here are the swatches so you can see them. What I was saying about the swatches is that the mattes kind of swatched patchily for me, especially these kind of deeper ones. And that was surprising to me because usually Natasha Denona mattes are really nice. And especially these sorts of shades, like these brown shades, are not that hard to formulate. So I wouldn't have expected them to be patchy at all. The shimmers swatched really, really beautifully though, so absolutely no problems there. The only other thing that was like a critique I had about this palette based on the swatches was that there's a lot of transition shades. So you have kind of this one deepest shade, then you have these like mid-tone shades, but then the rest of them are just like really light. Like you have this one, you have this one, this one, this one. So I think on the eye, you don't necessarily need that many light transition shades. There is a bit of redundancy there. Now, in terms of this eye look, so I started out by putting on the mattes. I first put on Mloko and then Flesh, and both of those went on like a dream. But then I went in with Teak and Log, and both of those were really patchy for some reason, and that was really surprising to me. So then to kind of cover things up, I went in with Kava in the inner third, then Oro, then Alchemist. And that sort of covered up all of the issues with the mattes. So then I added a little bit more of Log in the outer third and then went in with Teak in the crease area. But again, I found it to be a little bit less blendable than what I expect with Natasha Denona. So that was kind of surprising and disappointing, I have to say, because I had really high hopes for this palette. just to kind of show you guys what I can. I'm gonna go back in and add a little bit more of Kava to the inner thirds because I think this is probably one of the prettiest shades in the palette. I was comparing this to the Patrick Ta duos. I did swatch those in store, and for now I've held off on picking them up. Let me know if you guys would be interested in a review of them. But I feel like this shade is actually quite similar to what I saw swatched. Really, really pretty. And then I was going in with Aura into the inner corner, and I was saying that this one is actually a little bit more lackluster than what I was hoping. It's a little bit more like a topper shade, but as you can see, it's not giving you that really bright inner corner highlight like I would have expected based on how it looks in pan. Overall though, I am kind of not jiving with this palette as much as I had hoped. Like, I mean, you can see how the mattes really, they don't really want to blend much. They're just kind of fixed in place wherever I put them. And even though this is a really pretty eyeshadow look, I feel like it doesn't have as much glitz and glam as I would have hoped for from Natasha Denona. Like, here, let me build up the shimmers again to help you guys see them more. But in general, this look is not speaking to me as much as I thought it would. Like, I actually think I prefer I Need a Warm, at least upon initial impressions, which is surprising because if you watched my video of that one, I was like kind of disappointed with that one. But this one is even more disappointing. Also, I don't actually know that I like this color that much. I mean, that's totally on me. Like, this is the color in this palette, but it's giving me kind of just like banana bread vibes. Not exactly the most glamorous. But anyway, let's finish things off with the lower lash line. So in the interest of doing more shades, I'll go in with Sandstone and sweep this along the lower lash line. In general, this is kind of reminding me quite a bit of her Camel palette, which is my least favorite Natasha Denona palette because I really don't like the undertones in that palette. It's also kind of hard to blend for some reason, even though it's a very neutral palette. Let's go in with Log to deepen things up. And so yeah, similarly, I'm surprised at this palette because in general, I anticipate if it's a really colorful palette with like, you know, blues or purples that, you know, there's going to be a hit in terms of blendability because those sorts of shades are just really hard to formulate. But these sorts of browns like shouldn't be that hard to formulate. So I don't know what's going on. And then I'm going to take Nubia for the inner corner area. I think Nubia would be really nice all over the lids if you wanted something a bit more neutral compared to what I have on today. Like, this is definitely like the most yellow you could go with this palette. And again, I thought that this would be more flattering on me, but somehow it's just not speaking to me. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Maybe just add a little bit more light. I'll take some of Fizzy too because I just want to try out as much of this palette as possible. Find things I like in it. Yeah, I don't know. There's so much like glowy stuff on my skin, but somehow it's just not giving me as much impact and glam as I would have anticipated. So here we have the finished look. What do you guys think? So zooming you guys out, this has been kind of a roller coaster of a video. I'm still really sad about that footage of the gold palette because, like, look at this. This is such a gorgeous palette and I was so excited at the beginning of the video. I was like, you know, gushing about just how beautiful this is, and then when I started the swatches, it was kind of like, I don't know about this, and then once I got it on the eyes, I was really not sure about it, and so I'm sad that all of that footage is lost. But I will have to film at least one video dedicated to this palette, so if you're interested in that, definitely let me know and I'll try to prioritize that. Overall, I am just surprised at how my feelings about these two palettes have shifted so much. Like, I mean, look at them side by side. Like, this one to me is just so much more beautiful and really attracted me a lot. And I thought that it would be kind of a no-brainer that this one would be my favorite out of the two of them. Like, even side by side, I feel like the gold is still much more interesting to me. But now that I have the gold on my eyes, I'm a lot less sure. I think I just, yeah, like the formulations especially are just kind of surprising to me because like none of these shades should be that hard to formulate from my understanding at least. And so to have the mattes be so patchy is just not great. And especially because I've been playing around with this palette, I know the difference immediately. Like, you know, these mattes don't look that crazy different. Like, it's really the undertone that's different. And yet the performance is like wildly, wildly different. And then in terms of the shimmers, I haven't been that impressed by any of these. Like I said, I really like Kava, but the rest of them just kind of look fairly boring. They're not giving me that much impact on the eyes, which is quite disappointing given that, you know, this palette is not really supposed to be just about the color story. It's supposed to be about the quality of the formulas and their impact because, you know, every single brand has gold eyeshadow. So it's not like this particular color story is the most unique. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to play around more with this palette and see, but it'll be interesting to compare these two because I thought I was gonna probably just return the I Need a Warm and keep the golden palette, but now I'm less sure. It could be the opposite way around, or I don't know, hopefully both of them grow on me and I'm able to get some good use out of them, but at least from today's initial impression, it's not that great. Now, in terms of the other products on my face, it's generally really positive. I really like how this Prada foundation's looking. It applied super, super easily on the skin with a sponge and also with a finger. I think those two shades mixed together worked really well for me actually, and if I were to buy a full size, I would kind of find something in between the two. The contour stick was amazing, so easy to blend, really nice, neutral, cool undertone. So if you are in the market for a contour stick, would highly, highly recommend that one. The packaging is also just so beautiful, really, really a nice luxe experience. The lips, like I said, it's not my favorite formula, but I do think it looks really pretty, and the packaging is very cute, so I'll give it that. I really love this Petal blush on my cheeks. It's so pretty and I love the way the finish is as well. So would definitely recommend the Westman Atelier blush. The Kosas powder I think also did a really good job today. So really everything is good other than just I'm not a huge fan of the eyeshadow, which is like the complete opposite of what I was expecting going into today's video. But hopefully this was helpful for any of you who are eyeing these products. If you've picked any of them up, I would love to hear as well your thoughts in the comments below. Also, let me know if you picked up anything from the Sephora sale that you really love, because I still need to spend $100 by the end of the year if I want to maintain my rouge status, which is honestly a weird place to be in. Usually I spend more than enough money at Sephora for rouge, but this year I guess I haven't actually bought that much makeup. So if there's anything you'd highly recommend, let me know because I might need to return some of these products and pick up some others instead. But that's it for today's video. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!